want to delve into a bit about your background. So you're obviously a primary secondary teacher, and you've been doing that for almost 25 years, almost 3 decades there. And more recently, you've been inspired by the likes of Nelson Mandela. And he's sort of used the sport as a way to change the world. And you've used him as a little bit of an icon or a figure to help motivate you to make some major developments in AFL in Pakistan. So you've had the chance recently to meet the Pakistan sports minister. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience, what that's been like?
Yeah, firstly, great to be here, Hayden, and really appreciate your opportunity to allowing me to tell my story. And it all started way back in 2014. I've been running a children's non-for-profit, totally volunteer sporting charity called Footies for All. And in 2014, the International AFL Cup was held in Melbourne with teams from all over the world. And the Pakistan men's team were here, and some friends asked me to donate some footballs and cones and sporting equipment to help them in that tournament. And from there, I got to meet the players, obviously the administration and the coaching staff. And then in 2017, the International Cup was held again in Melbourne. And the Pakistan women's team was a total national team from Pakistan. And unfortunately, the coach didn't arrive. There were some issues with the visa. And literally 2 days before the tournament started, some friends of mine from AFL Pakistan here in Melbourne rang me and said, "Are you interested in coaching the women's team in the tournament?" And I said, I'd love that opportunity. Unbeknownst to me, most of them couldn't speak English, and also that they thought they were playing football with the round ball, not AFL, because the communication back in Pakistan for these women was not the best. So when they arrived, and there was 26, the most courageous and inspirational young women that I've ever met in my life, to come halfway around the world to play a foreign game in a foreign language up against teams that have been playing for all throughout their lifetime, was quite extraordinary, really. And that's another story that I can go through with you at some stage as well. And there were 3 or 4 of those in Pakistan AFL players that were international soccer players. That'd be Hayden, Myra Ahmed, international hockey players, badminton players. So we had a great sporting ability for some of them, but for most of them, they were out of their villages, out of their cities, and I'm not sure what they were actually told that they were actually doing, but they got a bit of a shock when they got here. We played Great Britain in the first game. We were very strong, as you might imagine, and got beaten 180-0. But what inspired me and got me to go back to Pakistan, I've been very lucky to visit twice, in 2019, and then last year in 2022. And really was the first Australian international AFL coach over there. And pretty much my time in the country, I spent 3 weeks there, or 10 days there in 2019, 3 weeks there in 2022. I was the only Western tourist that I saw around the whole country, which is really sad in one way, because the people of Pakistan are extraordinary in relation to their welcomeness, in relation to their love of sport. I think we get on very well because we have that same passion for sport. They have beautiful food, their music and art, and their natural environment's extraordinary. In the middle of the country, they got sugarcane, and really was from me being inspired by those women that came from across the world to play sport. They really didn't know what they were doing. We played 4 games. They never gave up. They got absolutely smashed. You talk about hard tackles on AFL at the moment they're going through. I tell you what, every one of my Pakistan women's team that got absolutely smashed. Karishma Ali, she's now an international soccer coach over in Pakistan, was about 4 foot high. And they kept bouncing up, and that resilience and that courage, because they were representing their country, and no matter what, they were going to get up and continue going on. And they became the tournament favourite, even though we only kicked 1 goal in our last game. And it was like we won the grand final when we did that. And officials and players from both sides were playing a world team, combined team, all ran on the team field to celebrate. At the end of every game, they would link hands and arms with the other teams, Fiji in particular, and sing together. And that's the power of sport, isn't it? So really from that, I was given the opportunity, or they said, look, we've come to your country, please come to our country, come to Pakistan. Everyone over here pretty much said you're mad, including my family, and it's, you're crazy. But, to create world peace and create connections and give opportunities and inspire hope, because they rarely have Western tourists in the country. So when I went back in 2019, I did 10 cities in 10 days. I started down south in Karachi, and I travelled up the middle to Gujranwala, then across to Lahore, Swabi, the great town of Swabi, also Multan, and then up to Islamabad, and did 10. Every city that I went to, we ran footy clinics for males and females, and really got an opportunity, all by road as well. It was extraordinary. I ran, 15 to 20-hour days every day. That was in 2019. And from that, obviously kept in contact with everyone over there. And then my work last year as a teacher, I was actually in 6 months in the Outback at Nookamba Cattle Station as a principal in Outback WA. And they very kindly allowed me to have time off for 4 weeks to travel to Pakistan to select, train and coach a men's team for the October 2022 AFL Asian Cup. And it was the first time ever in the history of 20 years that an all-national team from a country had participated in the Cup. And hats off to AFL Asia and Simon Highfield for his amazing organisation to get that tournament up and running. And really, the extraordinary thing is that when we went to the Asian Cup, majority of the teams from around the world, from around Asia, were with expat Australians. Our team, apart from me, was all Pakistanis. We took 25 Pakistani national men. Half of them never played a proper game of AFL in their lives, nevertheless gone to a tournament overseas. And a few of them never even been out of their village. We had Taj from Swabi, a farmer, and he was 40, but he was the fittest bloke in the team because of his ability to, work so hard as a farmer. We had some people from the street, and that amazing opportunity to play sport, represent their country, and we were very blessed. And coaches aren't as good as their players, and I had the most amazing players. We had to win 5 games in a row in 5 hours, including the grand final. We got over Laos in the semi-final by a point, and that was due to a player, Yasser, from Gujranwala. He split the webbing in his finger, and he had 5 stitches. And I wasn't getting enough drive out of my forward line. So I said to him, and he was a big, strong lad, and he could jump and kick. I said, Yasser, look, I really need you. I know you're injured. I know you're hurting. He goes, what can I do? This is for my country. What can I do? I'm there for you. And I stuck him in at full forward. And he literally kicked a point in the last couple of minutes of the game to win the game by a point to put us into the grand final, where we were 3 goals down at half time, and we were looking like, we couldn't even score. And I pulled the players together, and I pulled the captain, Tala, an amazing man. He was 6'4" and could kick it 50 metres with a torp. I pulled them all together, and I said, this is what, because I was in Pakistan for 3 weeks prior. 2 weeks of it was travelling the country again to select elite players from the different regions. And then we had a 10-day camp where for 5 hours a day, I was teaching them the rules because they didn't even know the rules of AFL. So I adapted the style, sort of like a blitzkrieg attack, that we just kick it as long as we could, and then everyone run forward and then kick it again, and then put a couple of skillful players in the forward line. My forward pocket was a national soccer player, Tawheed, and I just said to him, when the ball hits the ground, don't worry about picking it up, just kick it through the sticks. I showed him the goals, and he was the leading goal kicker for the division. We had the big man, a tick. We called him the general because he looked like he was straight out of Afghanistan. And I think everyone else was scared of him as well that we played against. And he just kept rebounding from centre half back. He was given player of the competition for Division 3 as well. And the big ruckman, Tala, we had a marathon runner in the midfield, Bilal. And I just said, tap it to the Bilal, and Bilal, you need to run. And luckily for us, a lot of the expat Aussies in the grand final had been out partying in Bangkok, Thailand, where the Asian Cup was held, and they ran out of legs, which what I was hoping for in the second half. We kicked 6 goals in 10 minutes, and the rest is history. The first team in 20 years of the competition to win at their first attempt and to win as a truly national Pakistani team. And it just shows, doesn't it? And you've been involved in sport, and a lot of people who are listening are involved in sport. That's the power of sport. You can inspire people. You can get people to work together. You know, half these people, I had to have a translator for every single instruction I gave. They speak Urdu in Pakistan. And, you know, we had that language barrier the whole time as well. But it didn't matter. They knew what they had to do. In sport, you've got to get the footy, you've got to get the ball, and you've got to kick more goals than the opposition. Simple as that.